Hey there, it's me, Ripper the Clown, the unpredictable cartoon character come to life, and I'm here with a DVD review of the brand new WWE DVD release, Getting Rowdy, the unreleased matches of Roddy Piper. You know, when I initially saw the match listings for this Roddy Piper unreleased DVD set, I was really disappointed because the content just seemed lackluster and uninspiring. Unlike the unreleased, never-before-seen matches 1986 to 1995, or whatever the hell the actual title of that DVD release is supposed to be, the current unreleased series seems to have quickly morphed from truly unreleased and unseen dark matches to a combination of dark matches and matches that haven't previously been released on DVD. You know, stuff that they threw on Coliseum Video back in the day, and other footage that was actually shown on television. But at least with the Macho Man Randy Savage unreleased set, there was a decent amount of dark matches to counterbalance the other footage. This Piper DVD, however, appeared to contain only two truly unreleased pieces of video in the entire collection, and upon my initial assessment, this set appeared to be an instant disappointment. Now, if you have perused my videos here on Ripper the Clown Show, you may have seen my Roddy Piper tribute video, and I have several other Roddy Piper videos available as well. A really fun spoof we did of the They Live, the classic They Live, I Have Come Here to Chew Bubblegum and Kick Ass scene as a commercial for an awesome store called Vintage Villains. So if you watched any of those videos or my tribute video, you know that I knew Roddy Piper, and that brief friendship back in the early 2000s really meant a lot to me during an extremely difficult period of my life. Roddy was very good to me. He always tweeted my comedy videos. I mean, he was just, he treated me very good for a very long period of time, even though we weren't close. And in the interim, whenever I came to an event or I went to one of his appearances, he treated me like gold. And Roddy Piper's death really broke my heart. I will always remember where I was, exactly what I was doing when my friend Mark texted me that Roddy Piper had passed away. And his loss still saddens me to this day, to be honest. And before Roddy Piper passed away, I never really discussed the friendship with Roddy and you know, the circumstances that caused us to meet. But I felt strongly enough after Roddy's loss to discuss our brief past in that tribute video, and also as the preface of my last comedy novel, The Life and Mimes and Alien Invasion of Ripper the Clown, the autobiography of an unconventional UFO abductee. You'll probably see the ad flashing on the screen as you watch this review. And that book was also dedicated to Roddy's memory. And after Piper's death, it really took me a long time before I could watch any of Roddy's work again. Wrestling matches, They Live, which is one of my all-time favorite films, none of the Piper's Pits, everything was kind of off limits because it bothered me for so long. And I slowly started to watch Roddy's work again, and it's so hard for me to watch it to this day, to be honest. So all that said, with really only one truly unreleased dark match on this unreleased Roddy Piper collection, being a personal interest to me, which is the Roddy Piper versus Mr. Perfect match, which I will discuss momentarily, I still had to buy the set. I just had to do it, and I guess I did so hoping that perhaps buying it and watching it would exceed my very low expectations considering the content advertised. And quite frankly, it most definitely did, pretty much instantly. Before purchasing the DVD set, along with the lack of actual unreleased footage, I was also concerned that this set was somehow going to be turned into some sort of vehicle for Ronda Rousey. Thankfully, this was not the case. And while the Ronda Rousey segments were kind of lengthy at times, they were tastefully and respectfully done, and you could really tell Ronda Rousey's love for Roddy Piper is genuine. The format for this DVD collection was much better than the silly roundtable discussion on the Randy Macho Man Savage unreleased set, wherein the only tolerable, respectable member of said discussion was Sean Mooney. I mean, you had Bailey and Corey Graves, who looked totally out of their freaking element, and then Diamond Dallas Page, who was typical, arrogant, condescending, intolerable, insufferable to watch. So, thankfully, we didn't have any of that crap on this DVD. And again, most of the footage on this Roddy Piper unreleased collection previously aired or could be seen, you know, or found elsewhere if you just looked hard enough. But overall, the content for disc 1 is just absolute gold, and the matches and promos selected are all stellar. Now, I'll talk more about Disc 2 later. Now, the promos on Disc 1, especially the one regional promo featuring Roddy Piper and a garbage can, really exemplifies the magic that was Rowdy Roddy Piper. And realistically, while again there is only one previously unseen dark match in this collection, perusing a few databases of comprehensive match listings for this era in the WWF, there actually weren't many Roddy Piper dark matches that hadn't already been released on other unreleased DVD sets. In fact, as much as I was initially disappointed in the lack of dark matches on the Getting Rowdy set, looking around online for a few minutes made me understand why the truly unreleased content was scant. There weren't many other dark matches for Rowdy Roddy Piper that we haven't seen elsewhere, and no unique match combinations of matches we haven't seen before either. You know, something on the lines of a Hulk Hogan versus Jake the Snake Roberts kind of thing. However, that said, here are a few selections that I wish had been included in this Getting Rowdy unreleased DVD set. First, the Roddy Piper For Everybody music video from the wrestling album. Now, to me, this seems like a given for this DVD set, and the idea that the video for Piper's iconic, albeit censored, cover of this song wasn't included is kind of inconceivable. The video featured Piper singing in a nightclub. I remember seeing it. I thought at some point it may have been a false childhood memory because I never saw it again, and I never saw it online or anywhere else. And I thought it was a false memory until I saw others talking about it online and asking people if they remember seeing it too. So, it obviously did exist and it did air, but apparently it never aired again, and this seems to be a missing gem in the realm of WWF footage. Here's another match, Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan versus Paul Orndorff and Cowboy Bob Orton from late 1996. Another really fantastic match that should have been included in this set, Roddy Piper versus The Undertaker. Now, this match seems to have mainly taken place on the house show circuit during The Undertaker's initial heel run. Roddy Piper talks about this match in his book, and his kids talk about it in their book about him. That would have been a great match because there are no other Roddy Piper versus Undertaker singles matches out there. What about the Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair steel cage match? Now, this is the match where Roddy Piper wins and leaves with both belts, the Intercontinental belt and the Heavyweight Championship belt. And this is a match that was documented with photos in a few select times in various WWF publications, including the Roddy Piper Memorial magazine that came out a few months after he passed away. Now, a fan cam of this match exists, but the quality is pretty bad. What about Randy Savage versus Roddy Piper? Now, this very brief series took place, the series that I'm referring to here, took place during the summer of 1989 and was covered in some of the After magazines, including a cover story. It was after Randy Savage teamed up with Sensational Sherry after WrestleMania 5, and that would have been a great match to include on this set. Additionally, or alternatively, how about one of Piper's Intercontinental title matches against Randy Savage from late 1986. That would have been nice too. How about Jake the Snake Roberts versus Rowdy Roddy Piper? Now, this match was actually advertised on the front cover of the Coliseum video release, The Battle of the WWF Superstars from 1992, but the match was not included in the video, and the match has never surfaced since. This match would have been a really fun addition, especially like the Undertaker Roddy Piper match, considering it would prove to be the only released WWF singles match between Piper and Jake the Snake. And in the realm of the already seen footage out there, I wish this set would have included more of Piper's brilliant work during his brief pairing with Sean O'Haire during Sean O'Haire's Devil's Advocate gimmick. Now, I mentioned this earlier, the one truly unreleased dark match on this DVD set features Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Intercontinental Champion Mr. Perfect. Now, the Piper Perfect feud was, if memory serves me correct, mainly and exclusively a house show and dark match feud, with matches surfacing, on Coliseum video and on broadcast of other arena events around the country. Despite the fact that all of their matches were basically the same, the Piper Perfect matches were, in my opinion, at least some of the very best for both of these guys. And this unreleased match is really a refreshing variation of their normal match, with a surprise ending that was really, really fun to see. For me at least, the DVD was worth buying simply for this match alone. The DVD set also includes an unreleased Piper's Pit featuring the Brooklyn Brawler. Now this was actually, yet again, the second piece of unreleased footage on this DVD set, and it's just a variation of the same Piper's Pit segment that was previously included on the unreleased Never Before Seen matches 1986 to 1995. On the negative side, here we go with Disc 2. Which is kind of inferior when juxtaposed with Disc 1. But because the content on Disc 1 and the WWF footage on Disc 2, I stand by my 5-star Amazon review rating of this DVD. Disc 2 pretty much consists of WCW footage and sporadic WWE appearances from 2003 until 2014. Personally, I would have rather seen more classic WWF footage, even previously seen footage, from the 1985 to 1995 period versus anything from WCW, especially considering that the WCW match selections on this DVD were subpar at best with, the typical nonsensical formulaic finishes typical of WCW from that era. And I definitely could have done without Piper's Pits with John Cena, Rusev, Ryback, and Daniel Bryan and AJ Lee. But it's really interesting to see these recent segments in a back-to-back kind of order because they really exemplify the cookie-cutter and formulaic nature of WWE programming, wherein each segment looks and feels the same and seems to be executed and presented in the identical same fashion. Seeing these semi-recent segments back-to-back is really a testament to how poor, redundant, piss-poor, sophomoric, and predictable WWE programming has become. And at the same time, seeing the classic Piper segments is a real testament to the individuality and the magic of not just the 1980s and 1990s eras in wrestling, but a testament to the magical brilliance and the magical genius of Rowdy Roddy Piper, who could make you believe what he was saying even when he was talking to a freaking garbage can. Something that none of the contemporaneous WWE roster can successfully achieve while working with living, breathing people. I'm Ripper the Clown.